Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and today I just want to take a look at something that Smilegate forgot about because, they technically I don't know if it was a promise or they said they were going to do. Either way, they told us that specially change we're going to be on a 10-week cycle. So the last 10-week cycle was due on 5/26. So we are literally like 8 to 9 weeks right now past the point where they said we'd have a specialty change. So I think that's kind of upsetting because those are always really fun and they're units we can all build, and they just add a lot to the game. I think like a lot of people might be mad at Carrot, but think about how much like content she's added to the game. A lot of the others are just complete failures. That's kind of the other part that's a little annoying, is 10 weeks, assuming they're on schedule, and they release something that is quite obviously just really bad. So I would just want to talk about the spec change units and perhaps think about one we can get and kind of devise what that unit can do to make them good enough to use. So let's take a look at the 3-star units here and just see which ones. And I kind of want to look at the ones that have been in since day one, because I feel like those are the ones that need the most kind of love, like I really feel like Aether deserves a spec change at this point, considering when he came in the game, how important he is into the game. Maybe it's better off being done through the story, but he's definitely one that deserves a spot. So when I think of spec change units as a player, as somebody who tries to help new players all the time, I want to look at units that are, they help new players. Either that or they're very useful in PvP, something like a MRSA, which is really good in PvP. But honestly, just helping new players is what I like to aim at. And there's a couple characters that are really, really good in PvE right now, specifically just 3-stars. Like, for example, Muse Rima is one that really fell flat for us because she just like wasn't really used anywhere because of it. But then we have somebody like, where are they here? Like Misty Chain, who's actually really good in PvE, but nobody really uses her. I've used her a lot for Wyvern. It's got a lot of debuffs there, and with a little bit of help, she would be awesome. There's also people like the Terranar Guard, who is used basically everywhere in terms of expeditions and PvP or PvE and Abyss and stuff like that. And there's also Alexa here. And I'm thinking Alexa is probably the one I would like to get the most love for specialty change. And the reason being, right now for new players, every single person just says for your selective summon, pick Cigarette, because you need Cigarette for Wyvern and stuff like that. You need her for all the other places. And it would be really nice to have a specialty change unit that could do what Wyvern does either the same or better, or what Sigurd does the same or better, so that person has flex in terms of picking who they want to use instead of just getting pigeonholed into Sigurd. Maybe they want to pick Araminta and lose all their battles, So let's talk about Alexa. I really think she does deserve this. So if you're not familiar with her, she's generally used for Wyvern because she just does a lot of attacks, specifically a critical hit will activate Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt can only be activated once per turn of the caster. Lightning Bolt rapidly cuts the enemy with dual-wielded swords. So basically, she gets 2 hits a turn if she crits, and she will crit versus Wyvern, obviously. And it's all right here. This is all her damage just from her skill 1, specifically with Joker combined. It does brutal amounts of damage. Her skill 2 here is a poison, 2 poisons, 80% chance, goes up to 100% chance here, and increases her CR by 30%. And then her skill 3 attacks the enemy continuously, dealing damage proportionate to the number of debuffs inflicted onto the enemy. So there are a couple things you can do here. Her kit is already great. Generally, people run her just with skill 1, and they turn off your skill 2 and skill 3. So a couple ways to fix that is find a way to make skill 2 and skill 3 useful, right? So if we look at skill 2, one of the problems with this is, yeah, 2 poisons is pretty good, But the problem with poison is that so much is immune to it, or so many things resist, right? Like you need 85 or whatever, 65. You need a lot of effectiveness to land against Wyvern 13, and she's not going to have those stats. She's going to be definitely pew-pewing, right? Like you're not going to give her effectiveness so she can land poisons. So one thing I would like to do is have this either ignore ER if it's a fire unit, or just have her specialty change give her effectiveness, give her like 85% effectiveness or 65% effectiveness or some amount of effectiveness against fire units. And I know people really don't enjoy units that are made for specific elements, but let's be real, Alexa's a character you're going to only really be using versus those elements, right? So that would really make it so you can end up putting her skills on just with this, because you're going to get the CR, you're going to get the poisons. The soul burn also does that, but you're not using that. You're never really using her on manual. And then as for the skill 3 here, there's a couple things she could do. One of the ones I really would like her to do, because she's honestly like a, I don't know if she's like an assassin of sorts. Like she's obviously not an assassin. What does it say about her? A faithful and honest member of the Order of the Sword. Yeah, so obviously not like an assassin, but I feel like she is like a poke, prod person, right? Which hits people's weak points a lot of times, and I would like skill 3 to have some sort of interaction with debuffs instead of just doing extra damage, because skill 3 as it is now does pretty much less than skill 1 when you combine the two hits in. So one of the things you can add to Crushing Blow here is, how do I want to say this? So right now it just deals damage proportional to the number of debuffs inflicted on the enemy. What you can do is have it add a random debuff possibly, and you can also have it extend debuffs. So have her be a specialist in terms of debuffs, allow her to extend debuffs on Wyvern or wherever you're bringing her, and have a chance to add another debuff. And of course, adding debuffs and extending would work versus the fire units because she'd have that extra effectiveness on her base kit. A couple other things you could do with her is perhaps give her some speed, give her some attack percent, give her some other stats like that throughout her passive tree. You could also add a couple other things like make Cold Edge give you a little more CR, bring it up to like 60% or something like that. There's a ton of things you can do to tailor Alexa to be just a straight up Wyvern killer, you know? Like Sigrid is great and all, she's especially great for one-shots, but Alexa being able to do all those things would be insane, honestly, and it would be so helpful to new players. And you're like, Mango, everybody's farming Wyvern 13, and I'm like, no, they're really not. The amount of messages I get weekly or daily even of people asking me how to beat Wyvern 11 and then 12 and then 13 is through the roof. There's so many people stuck in this spot, and I really just want to help them out. Yeah, so that's all I really wanted to talk about. This is one of the spec change I really want to see. It's one I've wanted to see for a while. What I don't want them to see is like have them pick a unit like, what's a unit here they could pick? Like Wanda. No, they already did that. Have them pick a unit like, which one here could they do? Have them pick a unit like Enot? I really don't like Enot here. Well, maybe Azalea. Maybe Azalea is a better option. Have them pick another unit like Azalea and just have her not really do anything, right? Like, because she's not a unit that's used ever. She's got AoE, defense break, which is actually pretty sweet, and some other stuff. She's actually got like a decent kit. She's got tons of debuffs and stuff. 4 debuffs actually on this one kit, but you still don't really use her. I really don't want to see them do something like this and have them go from not being used to not being used like Rima, right? I think it's better to target units that are used right now and give them that boost to be specialties in that area, or to like completely overhaul somebody like Azalea and make her useful somewhere. But I can't really see too many places a kit like this would work, especially when compared to like Carrot and stuff like that. Anyways, that's going to be it today. I hope this was enjoyable. I had a request for this. People wanted me to talk about SC units. I could have done like a list of them, but I really just wanted to show people what I would do with a unit to make them really shine. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.